Hello, hello. My name's Ryan Wheeler. If you're wondering why I started my mouth, I had like heat stroke thing happen when I was in the military. Had to be able to talk or something while lying down or something. All right. Anyway, moving on. Uh, Now I made a little couple videos way a couple months ago of me starting to acquire some Warhammer products, getting into the hobby of Warhammer and everything. I decided on a Raven Guard Raptor inspired chapter because I heard there were smart Marines. I'm like, perfect. That's what I'm going for. So I call them the Autumn Brigade, which I am currently, I'm thinking about writing a little, headcanon lore of what I consider and everything to make a video of that and everything. But I don't have enough to make a full like 1,000 point or whatever type list yet. Total, I have like 590 or 690 because I have a sixth Stern Guard veteran that I got for free from going into the Warhammer workshop a couple months ago. So, I mean, total points I have 590 would be Stern Guard, or because the sixth guy mixed them up, is Stern Guard, I have a veteran, Vanguard, I have the Infernus Marines, I have a Redemptor Dreadnought, and Cavan Shrike. Now, to make up for it and everything though, because I use the Battle Scribe app to keep track of points and everything else, I have a bunch of bottle caps. I used this idea from when I was overseas in deployment last year. I can say last year now. That's weird. But over there, because we had a whole bunch of water bottles around, we used them for like D&D. I started thinking of, instead of just using a placemat, we can actually use bottle caps. It's just like a 5x5 square. A bottle cap fits that. So we started using bottle caps. People like that when we were playing D&D over there, so that worked. And I just kind of like using the bottle cap idea. So I kind of, rigmarole it to a type of list to kind of do something for a Warhammer type thing. And I played my brother once, kind of. He has Grey Knights. Oh boy, the saves on those things are hard. But it didn't really count as first because it's the first time playing and we didn't really exactly know what we're doing. I still don't know exactly what I'm doing. My tail fell off. But today I got to go play at the hobby store. Somebody who had Tyranid army and everything. And I was like, it was exactly 1,250 points. And that's what I assembled for a like lists. And I was like, good, that's what I'll play with. So for the list idea of what I did was 5 Stern Guard veterans. I just counted 5. The Redemptor, Infernus Marines I put inside an Impulsor, which I would use a cap for. So Cavan Shriek leading 5 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. All those were caps. I would use a Chaplain with jump pack with a cap for my veteran Vanguard. Terminators and Scouts, all caps. And Infiltrators with a Phobos Lieutenant, all caps, versus his Tyranid army. And so this was the first time playing. We don't have mission cards because I haven't found mission cards yet because that's hard to do. Find all these different things, but what I did is we had the little scenic thing at the hobby thing. They already have stuff all set up for people to come and play, and that's what we used. I set up a couple areas for 5 markers. 4 on the outsides count as 5 points apiece, and the one in the middle count as 10. So a center point made a lot. It was on a little mount thing, so you had to climb up to it. So you can hold the objectives, get 5 points per turn, or go from there. And 2.5 hours. And basically I have to just tell how it all went. So, first round, I got to go first. I left. Now, I know we probably weren't playing everything right, even asking the hobby guy, hey, is this right? Because this guy I was playing with, he just started back in October. I just started here. He gave ideas and everything like that, and still some things I'm unsure of, but it is what it is. And I know I didn't use all the stratagems that could be out there. I used a couple, but I wasn't. It's hard. I haven't learned the stratagem stuff, everything yet. But I used the Vanguard detachment because that fits my Raven Guard esque type thing. I kept Cavan Shriek and the Assault Intercessors, the Vanguard with the Chaplain, and my Terminators. I kept those in reserves, whereas everything else was out in the field for round 1. Round 1, I was able to get one objective, but because I just couldn't really get anywhere and everything. And I screwed up. Well, I don't know if I screwed up per se. I put the infiltrators all the way over towards an objective that, like almost a home objective of his, and it did not go well. In 2 turns, the infiltrators were wiped out. It was just 5 infiltrators to the Phobos Lieutenant. I mean, yes, they killed a lot of guys, but I don't know. If I had took those and put them at an objective on the other side of the table, I could have held an objective longer and everything. But they did tie up part of his army for 2 turns. So, I mean, that worked. I mean, in a way, I mean, it did. It worked. So, I really don't know what to feel about that. It's just kind of like, I could have done something better, honestly. He had the center thing because he had like a creature that could lone operative deep strike near that objective, and he took that easily. So I was behind on points in the first round, and second round, his stuff started getting clear because his stuff's slow. My Redemptor Dreadnought he has this one big model, like a monster model, Tyranid thing, real big, ugly looking thing. My Redemptor took some shots at it. I managed to knock off 2 wounds off the thing. It had like 16 wounds, down to 14. 2 wounds off it. That would be the only 2 wounds I would be able to get off it all game. My Redemptor did nothing to him or anything the entire game. When he actually shot at my Redemptor Dreadnought, but because of the Vanguard thing, -1 to hit, benefit cover, whatever. His in one shot thing that he was able to take against my Redemptor Dreadnought knocked off half its health. That's even with the -1 of the damage characteristic. It's just like half its health gone. I was just looking at that like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to mess with that thing. I felt very intimidated. I honestly thought my Redemptor was like, my Redemptor's awesome. I mean, he's like cool stuff and everything like that. I think he'd be able to beat the crap out of anything or something. I literally thought that. I learned so quickly how wrong I was. I was just like, yeah, I don't want to mess with that. So I just kind of kept the Redemptor as far away as possible next to cover that he can attack. My scouts eventually get up to the center objective, but I deep strike my Vanguard on that in the second turn. And talk about things going haywire. Oh boy, my Vanguard. How I have the Vanguard is 4 of them have storm shields, and only the sergeant has a pistol. That's just, I didn't have 5 shields, so I just thought, he's the only one that gets a pistol. With the chaplain, he shot. They're able to charge in. Well, before they charge, he's able to shoot with the plasma, and I was like, let's hazardous it, because I don't know how much this thing had some health, so let's hazardous it. He misses, and he dies to the hazardous. Then I move my Vanguard in, and this thing has kind of like a fight first ability or so, and he basically wipes out my entire Vanguard. The chaplain kills him. It does. The chaplain is finally able to manage to kill him, but he has a last stratagem, fight again before you die, and killed my chaplain too. So no one had the center objective. I feel like I whiffed real bad. Or the infiltrators was maybe a strategic mistake, but maybe kind of helpful. The Vanguard, I mean, they did their job, but those rolls were terrible. I just felt, man, that's bad. Then next turn, round 3, because I'm able to hold the center objective and I'm able to get a couple of objectives close to me and everything, I start scoring more points. My Terminators and Impulsor, because I brought the Terminators in, they're moving forward, and there's a couple squads over there near other objective that he holds. They basically wiped them out, but we're too far away to claim the objective, so we're slowly getting towards that. He's slowly coming towards the other side of the table, where I have Cavan Shriek and his guys drop in at this other objective, but I have them hiding behind rocks. Not that he could target me, because Cavan Shriek's thing says you can't target him if you're leading a unit within 12 inches. So he can't target me, so he can only move so slowly to get towards me. But still, I keep trying to make pot shots with the Dreadnought, and nothing is hitting at all. Not one thing hits. Out of everything is just like it whiffed so much. I just like, dang. But the Furnace Marines get a little bit to do with the firing deck and the impulsor thing. They burn some stuff. So I was like, cool. I like my Furnace Marines. Uh, Even though the Infernus are maybe my favorite, they're the first models I got from the introductory set. My favorite are the Stern Guard for some reason. I like the Stern Guard the most. He had some melee bugs that came and attacked him from behind, and I held the objective with one guy left. I killed the rest of his guys after a couple turns, but the one Stern Guard sergeant, he stands proud and strong holding the objective. He does this warp stratagem that everyone has to do a battle shock test, and all but the impulsor fails. So I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. But everything else was like, wow. Uh, Last turn, yeah, he blows up the dreadnought. No deadly demise. And everything charges into that one thing where I have Cavan at. And he takes the center objective away from my scouts. Like, burns through my scouts. The scouts, as interesting as their arsenal is, they couldn't do any damage to this thing, especially not in melee. This, like, medium kind of bug that he had. And Terminators are able to advance into an objective. I hold that. So at the end of the game, the points was 70-60 in favor of me. I won. My first ever technical win, even though I played my brother once, won kind of that, but I count this as my first ever win. I had a celebratory ice cream afterwards. I was just kind of excited to have something like that because it was just really fun playing and everything. Like Cavan Shriek and the Assault Intercessors, despite like a 8 guys of Tyranids, this giant big thing, another big thing that he couldn't charge in, but his biggest model and all these other things charging in them. All the intercessors die except Cavan, and he fights back against all of it. He wipes out a whole squad by himself. Doesn't do any damage to the big guys. It was just like, yeah, you're that very hard, but man, it was a lot of fun. Is the it's like escape rooms, how I have fun with escape room stuff, how that's a mental challenge of everything. This was fun from a point of view of like actually living out my stuff with toy soldiers I used to play with as a kid, because this is just that on steroids. But seriously, the Stern Guard are my favorite. I couldn't figure out, if you wonder what this is, it's the kind of the Raptor logo. I couldn't figure out the stickum that I had, the little label thing, it wouldn't stick. I don't know if it's because it was too watery or anything. I should have maybe used toothpick. I know a little bit more now how to do it, but I didn't know I couldn't get it to stick after several attempts. So I was like, well, screw it. I'll paint it on. So that's why it's painted on. But it was really, really fun. And I'll probably see the guy again. We'll play him again maybe, because, I mean, you learn more every time you play. I do need to get more models. Eventually, it's just, budgeting. This stuff's expensive. But I'd say, yeah, I'm in on the hobby officially, I would say, not because that was not just because I was on the winning side of it, no, because it could have turned very badly quickly if he was able to get all his guys, if they were quicker to move them. Oh man, that would have definitely changed the game. That because he whiffed on a couple of things because of the Vanguard strat I have that's -1 to him to hit. So that actually helped me several times in not having to be, destroyed. And then Cavan's ability not being able to be targeted unless you're within 12 inches really helped. So probably next I'd get would be actual model wise would be the Assault Intercessors. Terminators seem like I find everywhere. It's like all the spots I've seen have Terminators, so I can get those anytime. But the Assault Intercessors, definitely want to get Scouts. If I don't do Scouts, what else? I don't know. I think they're worth it so far. But, I mean, building a 2,000 point list, 4,000 point list would be definitely something more to do. 7 Repulsor, I think a Repulsor, looking at stuff later, would be much more. It's 190 points, but be much more heavy lifting, so that's something to try to look at for myself as far as more vehicles in the future. Like, because I only have the Dreadnought so far, I only have Caps, but to get something like that in the future would be more heavy hitting. Because man, that bug, I don't remember what he called it, what it's called, but that thing, I couldn't touch that thing. It was toughness 12 or something, and the other ones were like toughness 9. It was just like, what in the world? It was it was hard to beat that, but fortunately their save things were low. Unlike my brother's, Gray Knights, which saves are like, oh yeah, 2+ on everything almost. It's just like these, you didn't really need the AP stuff to do, so that was much more better. But I know we probably didn't do everything right, even though we were asking the hobby guy for questions. I'm not sure if we still got everything right, but definitely a lot more fun to play and everything after experiencing it, watching a whole bunch of videos of it online and stuff. So, all right, well, I know talking a lot, but I was just excited from playing this. First time playing this, and I'm very excited. So, say goodbye to Sterngard. He waves his power fist away to you. And we'll see you the next time for the next battle report thing. Goodbye.